It's a sacrifice. People driving down the road, or people that go to a grocery store, they don't realize the sacrifice that all these men and women are making when they're not home with their family. They might be gone a week, 2 weeks, whatever at a time, and it's a sacrifice. And if one thing about trucking, if you don't love it, don't do it, because you'll hate it. The message here is, if you want to do something, do it. And if you don't know, there's always somebody that can give you some advice. Like I said, I'd never ever done a project of this magnitude. I've never done fiberglass before that hood. You seen the picture. I mean, it just was one of them things. But fiberglass, if you screw it up, you cut it out and you start over. I like pouring concrete. Once it gets hard, you get to look at what you left, I made a lot of mistakes. That's how I know how to do some stuff. If you don't make mistakes, you're not really trying too hard. Hi, I'm Gary Walders, and this is my 1995 Kenworth that's built on a 2000 GMC frame. Got a 3116 cat in it with an Allison 6-speed transmission, 287-inch wheelbase.
Truckers, welcome to the Asian My Show out here in Crossville, Tennessee. Is that correct? And I saw this amazing man that actually says he's a subscriber and watches the video, so I thank you so much for that, sir.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
I really do appreciate you.
Love it.
For so many years, I just say my mom was the only one that supported what I was trying to do. So now I got my mama and you. So thank you so much for that, sir.
That's two.
That's two. That's all we need.
Increased by 50%.
I don't even know how humble you are when we're looking at something like that, but we'll get to that. Introduce yourself, sir.
Gary Walders from Defiance, Ohio.
How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing super.
You doing great?
Yes, sir.
Before we talk about your life in trucking, let's talk about this build a little bit.
Okay.
And we talked off camera, and you told me, you said, hey, Alex, before we can even talk about this build, we got to see what it's been through, right? And you brought a little book with you.
Yes, sir.
So let's go through this little book real quick and let's check this out.
Well, that's what I started my life as. 2000 GMC.
How many years ago, sir?
Started in 2017.
Wow.
Had it done about a year now.
Really? That's...
Well, it's done to this point. It just kind of tells the whole story.
I mean, we talk about taking it apart.
The only thing that's never been moved off this is the front axle. I put Freightliner rear ends under it.
Wow, that's so cool to show.
This was the damage that was on. I bought the hood, it was that way, but I had to have the hood to start the project because we had to put it on the frame and kind of shoved to it. So ended up, I fixed it myself. Came out pretty nice. My boys kind of laughed, but.
So you did all the work on this?
I built it.
You built it?
Yep.
You were one humble and very talented man.
Well, I don't know about the talented, but I got a big cross on the back, so the good Lord can take a monkey and turn him into something.
I'll tell you that. Wow. It's incredible to see that to this right here. So let's walk this, talk about the build and walk around, let us know what you've done, because we saw the pictures.
Well, you can't buy a flip bumper for a 2000 GMC, so I built my own. I put my own air ride on the front, built that. Being it's a custom truck, you can't buy panels that fit, so I got a local machine shop there about 30 miles from me that folded them up for me. Made these little panels to cover this hole in here. Got Lincoln pipes on her. Luma tanks. Those were from Huntley, Illinois. They made them, ordered them on a Monday morning at 8:30, and the following Monday at noon they was at my house.
Wow.
And my son was at a truck stop out in Missouri in the middle of the night and seen that big cowbell. I'm a cowbell fan, so he thought, oh, Dad ought to have that.
That's great that you have a son that thinks about you,
Well,
sir.
he drives truck. They've got 3 trucks that they're running. So then all this, like this is all aluminum stuff here, and they're again the same shop that made my stainless. Cut that out. Neighbor kid welded her up, and we polished her and put some lights in. And got 22 5s on the back, 19 5s on the front. Got a 3116 Cat in it with an Allison. My wife, that was the only thing my wife asked, if I'd put an automatic in it, so if we were someplace and she had to drive it.
Oh, so she drives too?
Well,
she can drive.
I'm retired. I've been around trucks all my life. I was about 6 years old. My neighbor guy started raising potatoes and had one of them little GMC cracker boxes with a cab about this wide.
Yes, sir.
And I would drive that through the field as him and my dad put sacks of potatoes on the back, and I was too small. I couldn't even push the clutch down, so at the corner he'd jump on and turn it. And so the bug bit me, and I just had it all my life.
You know, when you say all your life now, how many years have you been driving?
I've had my license since I was 18 years old, and I've drove off and on that whole time. I spent 30 years of my life here right to the end as a lineman for the power company, but got a neighbor there that hauls farm machinery, and so I've always had my foot in and out the door.
When it's in your blood, it's in your blood, huh?
Yeah.
You know, let's be honest. For all the newcomers, the people that don't have someone in their family that are truck drivers, you know, any advice for them? Because that's why we do these interviews at times.
It's a sacrifice. People driving down the road, or people that go to a grocery store, they don't realize the sacrifice that all these men and women are making when they're not home with their family. They might be gone a week, 2 weeks, whatever at a time, and it's a sacrifice. And if one thing about trucking, if you don't love it, don't do it, because you'll hate it.
No, thank you for that. You know, I really appreciate the truth. I hate to ask, but you know, what's it look like under the hood?
Well, we can pop her. It's nothing special.
Is nothing special?
I was talking to a guy the other day, and he was looking at it, and he says, well, what kind of horse are you running? And I just kept a straight face, and I said, well, she's pushing about 4,000 horse.
Wait up, say that one more time.
I told him it was pushing 4,000 horse, and he stood there and he kind of looked at me, and then I says, no, I'm just teasing. I said it's about 260.
Oh, I love it. I think a lot of the KW fans are going to love this today.
Well, she's just no farm truck.
Look at that. When you say the engine looks okay, I mean,
it's nothing special.
it's nothing special. What type of motor?
3116 Cat. If it ain't yellow, it don't run.
Say that. Wait, say that one more time.
If it's not yellow, it don't run.
I love that. That's great. That's great. You know, I almost want to. I hear this baby fire up. It looks so clean. You know.
It'll soot, and I don't want to soot nobody's truck.
Yeah, let's not sit it. We'll leave that alone, sir. Respect.
It sounds good.
It sounds good, right?
It's got 7-inch cannons on it.
Oh, I love it. What's the inside look like?
Nothing real special. I did big hole it. I haven't really done too much in there other than the dash. I got one more panel to do, but I got just enough material to do that, and I didn't want to poke holes in it until I got ready. But like I said, I big holed it, changed the seats. Haven't done a whole lot in there yet. We just basically, like I said, just last year, we just got it painted. So
I love how humble you are. I could drive this bad boy every day of the week.
Well,
you better stop with me, sir.
That's the thing of it, you know. And we just, you know, everybody says, what do you do with it? And I said, well, my son's got a pulling tractor, so we pull that around, and we keep a few sheep to home, so I haul some sheep with it, haul a little hay, and mainly just fiddle around with it. I don't do these. This is the first big time show I've ever been to.
Well, I appreciate you being here, sir.
I didn't realize it. Like I said, I've been watching. I didn't want anybody put ovals all over it.
I heard that. You know, but no, overall, no, thank you so much. You know, I really appreciate you.
Not a problem. Not a problem. And like I said, I guess the message here is, you know, if you want to do something, do it. And if you don't know, there's always somebody that can give you some advice. Like I said, I'd never, ever done a project of this magnitude. I've never done fiberglass before that hood. You seen the picture. I mean, it just was one of them things. But fiberglass, if you screw it up, you cut it out and you start over. I like pouring concrete. Once it gets hard, you get to look at what you left, you know. But
I'll tell you, people, I think people at home are gonna get some motivation. At times, it's great when you do things yourself because you learn from your own mistakes and you save a lot of money.
I've made a lot of mistakes. That's how I know how to do some stuff. If you don't make mistakes, you're not really trying too hard. So I had a little road rash incident yesterday. Caught that mud flap with a piece of road alligator tire.
Yes, sir.
So I got a little body work to do when I get home on that. But hey, it's just a truck.
I love that. No, I appreciate it. At the end, shout outs to anyone at home or anyone that has been something amazing in your life.
Oh, my wife and God.
Let's talk about that for just a second. Relationships in the trucking world is very difficult at times. How long have you been married?
Been married 41 years this last June 13th, and that's actually where this project got started. We were on our honeymoon, and a fella had a black Peterbilt with a 60-inch walk-in bunk, lowered and cut down, pulling a camper. And of course, I was one of them people that went by him and slowed down and went by him, slowed down, because I was so intrigued by it. So it's been 38 years in the making that I've had an idea. And originally when I started this, that's what I was going to do, was narrow it down. Well, the more of them projects I got to looking at, 2 people couldn't fit in there. And I used to have draft horses and go to horse sale once in a while. And I thought, can't utilize the bunk, and I didn't want to have to get outside, and if I narrowed the bunk up, you wouldn't be able to sleep in it anyway. So I just left her full size. She's no wider than my dually. And
so what's the secret, sir, to happiness with relationships?
well, the good Lord's a big part of it, and you got to learn to give and take. And got a good woman. She went with me for a while when we were first married. Got pregnant with my old first son. So then I sold my truck, which was like cutting your arm off. And I've always had jobs where I've drove truck or, farmed or whatever. And so this year is, I guess I'm living out my second childhood.
I'll tell you. So it sounds like almost 40 years off and on trucking.
40, yeah, 40, 42.
Well, I really appreciate you for everything you do.
I thank you, and I thank you for the work that you do.
No,
You're very informative to folks. So
I appreciate you, sir.
Alrighty.
Yes, sir.
The lace and the paint, you can get real close to that. You can see how fine the detail is. And there you can see all the little, we might have to get some little bit different light, but.
And you did all that too?
I did not do the paint work. A young fellow that I've known since he was that high, was a good friend of my boys. He's been a body guy for about 17 years. He said he would paint the truck for me, and he says, do you care if we put some lace on it? I says, no, I guess not. So he'd never done it before, I'd never done it before, and
here we are.
It came out wonderful.